Hi viewers, welcome back to another episode of Travel and Food for Fun. In this video, I'm going to talk about the travel tips on visiting Egypt. When you think of going to Egypt, it puts you in two minds. One is to see the pyramids, the mummies, tombs, temples, and the remains of the ancient Egypt. On the other hand, you struggle with the negative press about this developing country and the safety of you and your loved ones during your visit. We have recently visited Egypt and have had some interesting experience while touring different parts of this country. I'm going to share my experience with you so that you are aware of them before you go there. So without further ado, let's go start the video. How do you get to Egypt? Most of the international flights will land in Cairo, the capital of Egypt. From Cairo, you can make travel arrangements to other cities of Egypt. Egypt allows port entry, so you can buy your visa at the airport for $25 before the immigration. Bring exact change in US dollar to pay for the visa. You can stay up to 30 days with a single entry visa. You can also go online and apply for the visa before you go there. If you applied online, then you need to allow at least 2 weeks for the visa to approve and make it to your email inbox. Make sure to get a print of your e-visa before you start your journey. Next topic is how many days needed for Egypt. You need between 7 to 10 days to see the main attractions in Egypt. We stayed 7 full days. During our 7-day stay, we visited 3 main cities: Giza, Cairo, Aswan, and Luxor. We divided our 7 days into 2 days in Giza, Cairo, 2 days in Aswan, and 3 days in Luxor. We didn't have time to go to Alexandria, which is another seaside town that you can visit if you have an extra day. If you have more time, then you can also stay longer in any of these cities or visit some other cities. I strongly suggest staying a minimum of 3 days in Luxor, the capital of ancient Egypt, as there are quite a few things to see there. Now let's talk about the transportation and how to move around when you're in a city of Egypt. Usually whenever I visit a foreign country, I try to rent a car or use Uber or similar rideshare services to go to places at my own pace. However, in Egypt I made an exception and pre-booked all my trips via tour operators online and via WhatsApp, including airport transfers. I'll give you the details of the tour companies in the description box below. Pre-booking all my tours gave me the peace of mind as I was traveling with my family, and it also allowed me to cover most of the major attractions in a limited time. If you're not into guided tours, then you can use taxi, but make sure you haggle the price before getting into one. You can also use Uber or Careem to book a ride from one place to another. I prefer using Uber or Careem than a taxi to avoid haggling. Uber is not available in Aswan, but Careem is available in all cities I've been to. I heard good things about Uber and Careem services, so I believe you can use either one of them if necessary. How to travel between the cities in Egypt? In my opinion, flying is the best way to travel between the cities to save time and hassle. Besides flying, you can also take trains and buses. You can also rent a car via tour operators for the day trips like Cairo to Alexandria, Aswan to Abu Simbel, or from Aswan to Luxor. I strongly suggest you take a Nile cruise or rent a car if your time allows from Aswan to Luxor or vice versa, and visit the Kumambo and Edfu temples on the way. us, we flew from Cairo to Aswan and then used a rental car for a day trip to Abu Simbel and also to go to Luxor. Then from Luxor we flew back to Cairo. I booked plane tickets online at egyptair.com. During our visit, no other airlines were operating between these cities. I also pre-booked all the airport transfers and rental cars for our day trips. All the quotes were given in advance and there were no hidden fees. Most of all, I felt at ease because I knew I was in good hands. There are quite a few things to see in Egypt. Of course, the Great Pyramids in Giza, Muhammad Ali Mosque in Cairo, Luxor and Karnak temples in Luxor, Philae Temple in Aswan, and the temples in Abu Simbel, just to name a few. It is recommended to have a knowledgeable Egyptologist as a guide to know the rich history behind the structures while visiting them. Please go to my channel to watch my sightseeing videos in all of these places. I'll also put the links to the videos in the description box below. There are many choices when it comes to hotels and locations in different cities of Egypt. On our first night, we stayed at Giza because we wanted to be close to the pyramids. However, there are not many good hotels in Giza, so our stay at the hotel was not that satisfactory. There are many brand hotels in Cairo, which is about 30 to 45 minutes away from Giza. I suggest you get a hotel in Cairo and start early in the morning for the pyramids visit and to avoid traffic. We stayed at Hilton Cairo Zamalek by the Nile River during our Cairo tour, and it was a great experience for us in terms of room, breakfast and customer service. There are other brand hotels that you can stay in for some good experience like Marriott, Fairmont, Sofitel, Le Méridien, Ramses Hilton, Four Seasons, Westin, just to name a few. In Aswan, you have choices to stay in East Bank or in the Elephantine Island. East Bank is well connected to the city center. On the other hand, you'll have to take a ferry to go to the Elephantine Island. I suggest you stay in the East Bank. We stayed in Philae Hotel in East Bank. It was by a busy street, so the traffic noise was bad, but it had a very good view of the Nile River. However, there are many other choices for the hotels in Aswan like Movenpick, Sofitel, Basma, etc. I suggest you pick one of them for a better experience. In Luxor, again you have choices to stay in East Bank or West Bank hotels. East Bank hotels are well connected to the city center, and I would suggest you stay in one of the East Bank hotels. We stayed in Winter Pavilion Luxor, and it was a very good pick for us. And in my opinion, it is one of the best hotels in Luxor. I strongly suggest you stay there in Luxor for a good room and breakfast experience. There are a lot of choices when it comes to food. There are big chain restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, and there are other local restaurants and food vendors. However, our tour guides always advised us not to eat in random places, especially from street vendors, unless recommended. Therefore, we mostly ate at well-reviewed restaurants. Do not drink tap water anywhere, always drink bottled water, even in restaurants. One thing we noticed with the guide recommended restaurants, the prices were a bit on the higher side because the guides might have added some commissions to the bill. They don't let you pay the bill directly, they pay on behalf of you and collect the money from you later on. You order from a set menu or eat from their buffet. The drink prices are separate and they charge very high prices on the drinks, so be aware of that. We went to two guide recommended restaurants, one in Giza and the other in Luxor, and paid 200 Egyptian pounds per person in both places, which was a bit higher than the Egyptian standard. Most of the restaurants in Egypt don't take credit cards, so carry plenty of cash for your expenses. Tipping is standard in most restaurants. 10 to 15% of the bill amount is ideal for tips. Always check your bill before you pay to make sure you're paying for the items you had. Please check out my videos to see the restaurants that we've been to in all these cities. Vendor hassle is something that is very common in this developing country, where majority of the people are below the poverty level. So the vendors are very aggressive to make a sale to you, and that is very common in all the attractions throughout Egypt. To avoid vendor hassle, try not to show any interest in their products and try not to make any eye contacts. Ignoring them is the best way to avoid the hassle. If you do decide to buy something from them, be ready to haggle, as their asking price is always hiked up. Sometimes we haggled and reduced the price to 30 to 40% of their asking price. At most of the attractions, whether pyramids, tombs or temples, a guard will come and will offer his service to take your pictures on your camera or phone. He will even offer you access to see an extra room or see things up close located behind a roped off area. In most of these places, I did take their offer to help us taking our pictures, and in return I gave them some change. However, we refused to go behind roped off areas that were not meant for the tourists. In general, we tried to give good amount of tips to all our tour guides and rental car drivers, as these people are not that well off financially and rely on the tips from the tourists. Most guides will try to take you to shops that are set up to rip money off of the tourists. They will tell you that these are specialized shops, but they are not. You'll find similar things in outside regular shops with much lower price. However, there are some exceptions. Try to avoid buying anything from these shops, as you can get the same things from an outside shop with a much lower price. Like any foreign country and cities, always be aware of your belongings. Try to avoid nighttime adventures as much as you can, unless you are going with a guided tour. In general, the country seemed very safe to travel. Of course, you need to exercise your common safety measures like in any new place. With that, I would like to wrap up this video. I hope I was able to give you some good tips about visiting this amazing country with a lot of history and rich culture. Please like and share this video if you can. Until I see you in my next video, take care and goodbye.